Welcome, everyone. I'm Tracy Fitzpatrick, and I'll be your moderator today. Thank you so much for joining us here at Netcom Learning, a market leader in promoting lifelong learning, training, and talent development solutions. We are very excited to host today's event, Take the Lead in Machine Learning Innovation. Presenting today's topic is Imran Ahmed. Imran is a dedicated professional with demonstrated results in creating mission-critical enterprise applications for various clients. He possesses over 10 years of experience and has given hands-on technical solutions with a verified track record of designing and implementing secure, reliable, scalable, highly available, fault-tolerant, mission-critical enterprise applications. Being a highly motivated and performance-driven software professional, he's the best fit for all types of learners, including the novice and experienced professionals. Please bear in mind that this is an overview of a very robust topic. We offer a collection of technical and business courses that can be tailored to your specific requirements. If you are interested in a further discussion, you can make an appointment with our learning consultants through our website at netcomlearning.com. Today's session is also being recorded, so you'll get free access to the recording in the next 24 hours via email. Netcom Learning helps customers build innovative learning organizations by achieving a smarter workforce, adapting to change, and driving growth. We do this with a broad catalog of offerings, developing customized learning plans, and our global delivery capabilities. Since 1998, we have been empowering organizations with our managed learning services to help them reach optimal performance results and address challenges. We have 9 practice areas in which we specialize. They encompass people, process, and technology training. Today's presentation is from the AI and data practice areas. Netcom Learning offers a comprehensive training portfolio of courses for the topic being covered today. Our upcoming classes include various trainings on the given courses. You can also access a variety of marketing assets, such as the free training and blogs, by clicking on the available event handout. These offerings can be found with a simple search on our website at netcomlearning.com. Today's session will uncover the best practices to transform business challenges into cloud-driven ML solutions. In addition, participants will gain practical insights through essential concepts and practical demonstrations to elevate your cloud experience. Now I would like to give you a quick overview of the logistics before we get started. To begin with, you do have the option to view in full screen by clicking on the full screen button on the right side of the GoToWebinar viewer. Simply hit the escape key to exit the full screen. Everyone has been muted except for our presenters. Feel free to submit any questions you have for the presenters here in the questions pane, and we will address them at the end of the session. And to get the best out of today's events, we've included the slides, courses we talk about, and marketing assets in the handout section of your GoToWebinar viewer. You may refer to them at any time to get a better understanding of today's topic. And we do realize that some of you may have to leave early and want to let you know that as you do leave the session today, you will be presented with a short survey. We would like to request for you to take a quick moment to participate in that survey. Your feedback really helps us understand your learning experience and improve our future sessions for you. The survey answers are measured on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 representing outstanding and 1 representing poor. And now I'd like to pass this over to our trainer to present today's topic. Hey, Imran, thank you so much for joining us today.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this webinar. So let's start. So now the topic that we have selected for today's webinar, it's quite interesting that machine learning, as we know, all of us, we have heard about over and over again, that machine learning itself has become a very big topic. Now, when you combine machine learning with cloud computing, there are so many other options that become available. So when we combine these two together, so it provides us with so many options in the cloud. And the cloud computing that we are talking about, as we know, this is Google. So Google Cloud, when we talk about Google Cloud, it allows us to do something that is not possible on on-premise environment. We are talking about it makes things scalable. We are talking about that we are able to be more ambitious. We are able to solve problems at much more large scale. And it also what it does is that it allows us to provide tools in a single window. So you don't have to hop around across different tools uh, to create an end-to-end solution. So this ability to provide an end-to-end solution, this is the power of Google Cloud. So let me introduce myself. My name is Imran Ahmed. And I am based in Ottawa. And for living, what I do is that I did PhD in machine learning. I developed an algorithm that is called Astra-Org. And that algorithm is used in different grids and clouds across the globe. That was part of my PhD. I developed that in 2010. And if the best introduction is that if someone can just go to LinkedIn. So this is my introduction. So my name is Imran Ahmed, and I'm based in Ottawa. I wrote a book on these topics, 50 algorithms every programmer should know. And I'm in this space working in for the last almost 25 years. So let's talk about, I'm an authorized instructor for Google Cloud as well as for AWS. And let's look into today's topic, what is the agenda and what we are going to do today. So today we will first look into, we will try to introduce Google Cloud, and we'll see that Google Cloud is a big tool. It's not that we can introduce this tool in one short webinar, but we'll try to look into the aspects that are important in terms of machine learning. So when we talk about Google Cloud has certain sets of tools that are very powerful and very relevant in machine learning. So those tools that we have, they are basically one of those tools, one of those sort of single window operation that we have, that is called Vertex AI. And we will extensively look into Vertex AI, what Vertex AI is, what does it provide, and how it makes our life easier. Vertex AI. Now, when we talk about Vertex AI is comprised and composed of different components, different tools. So Vertex AI, if you go to Google Cloud, as we know that the easiest way to use the power of Google Cloud is just go to Google Cloud Console, and all the tools that we have, they are lined up here. You can go by the topic, or you can just write the name of the tool and it will show up here. So for example, if so for example, if you want to navigate if you want to navigate to Vertex AI, so the way you will do that is that you will go here and you will write Vertex AI. Now, using that, you can navigate straight to the Vertex AI. in Vertex AI, you will see that on left-hand side, as I mentioned, that all the tools that you need to use for large-scale machine learning project, they are readily available here on the left-hand side. I will give you an overview of these tools and how they are useful for us, how they can be used in different phases of full-fledged machine learning project. But for now, so this is the tool Vertex AI I was talking about. This is sort of the single window operation that allow us to develop an end-to-end machine learning model. So I'm talking about, it's not part of the solution. It is you can create a complete solution using Vertex AI. Now, this Vertex AI has different sorts of tools, as you can imagine, different sorts of components, as you can imagine. And one of the biggest capabilities that have been recently added is about generative AI. As the popularity of generative AI that has increased, so it means that we need specific tools for it so that we can use this in we can use this tool both in dev environment as well as in the prod environment. So we need support for using this tool, and this support is provided in in Google. How these generative AI capabilities? There are two parts of it, as you can imagine. One is that we need tool, we need support that how we are going to develop it. And we also need support that how we are going to use that in production. So we'll see that now for the dev support, if you go back here, for production, what's there is that you need, Gen AI, you can create a solution, in-house solution that you have developed and you want to use it. Or what you can do is that you can use the solution, for example, large language model that was developed by one of the biggest companies, and you just want to use its endpoint. So that repository of pre-trained models, this is right here. This is called Model Garden. Is there anyone who has heard about Model Garden? What is Model Garden? Model Garden essentially is that it allows you to train, to use the models that have already been there. What you're doing here is that you're just trying to use the model, just like if anyone has exposure or experience or have heard about Hugging Face. So Hugging Face in open source is the essentially the largest repository that we have that is used to download and train pre-trained models, right? So if you want to use, if you want to have the same experience, same exposure to use those pre-trained models, so what we have here is that for that, what you will be doing is that you will be using something like Model Garden. On left-hand side, you will see that this is the Model Garden. It means that just like in open source, you have all the pre-trained models, generative AI. Now these pre-trained models, they are available here in this Model Garden. You can look for these models, what models you are looking for. For example, if Llama is a popular model as by Facebook, or if you're looking for Mistral or whatever model is there, so this is where you want to use the models that have already been trained. You just want to download and use it. If you want to create your own model, if you want to have anything, any asset that you want to train, so in that case, what you will be doing is that you will essentially use what you will do is that you will go towards the other assets that is there. Let me show you how you can do that. Give me a second here. Okay, if I go here. Okay. So what you can do here is that let me move this just a bit. So what we can do here is that on left hand side, you will see that there are different tools available. This is basically where we call, this is the model garden that we have. Now, this model garden, what it does is that it allows you, if you click this, it expands like this. This is the tool that I was showing you. Now, this is where you will use the tool when you want to use pre-trained models. But if you want to do it yourself, then what you will do is that you, first of all, if you want to write some Python code, you can go to Workbench, and here you can create a notebook. For example, you go here, and here what you do is that you create a new notebook. Now, I'll go with the default settings, but here, of course, you can choose the setting that that works for you. And in that case, what you will be doing is that, for example, you can choose, you can look here to give a name of the instance that you have. You can choose the region in which you are in. Here, what you can do is that you can choose the operating system. You can also choose the software framework that you want to attach. You can choose that what sort of machine will be at the backend that will be running your code. And what you can also do is that if you want, you can also attach a GPU that will, of course, makes the cost higher, but it will also make it more performant and more powerful as well, right? So let me go with the default options, and let's see that what I'll do here is that I will just create the machine. Now it says that I've chosen the defaults. Now these defaults, what it will do is that right here, it will create a VM for you. You will see here that this VM, this gets created. This gets created here, right? Now this VM that is being created, it will take some time. We'll come back and see here that how this Jupyter notebook that we have, this is within the ecosystem of Vertex AI. What is the ecosystem? Ecosystem is actually all the tools, the living environment that is on your left-hand side. This all is essentially the living environment for your Vertex AI tool or the solution that you have. So this is all the living environment that we have. And let's look into some of them one by one. It says that there is storage. Storage means that your machine learning model, it is trained from labeled data. That labeled data needs to be stored in a way that is efficient and that is cost effective. So one of the ways you can store that is that you can store that in a bucket, a cloud storage bucket. Now you would say that this is basically in the cloud storage bucket, how that will be made available in Vertex AI. So let's look into that. So if you go to Vertex AI, first of all, this notebook is ready. We'll open that in a minute. So here you will see that this is a Vertex AI tool that I was talking about. So you will see the different components, they are organized in different headings. There's model garden, there's pipelines. In Vertex AI, you will see that on left-hand side, let's look into these components one by one. On left-hand side, you will see that first of all, there is a notebook, then there is Vertex AI Studio. So this studio that you have, this studio has everything that you need for the dev environment of generative AI. So what it means is that whatever you need for the dev environment of Gen AI, this is covered here. If you want to develop a model that is based on chat, it is covered here. If you want to develop a model that is more about the pictures, it's more about the vision that you have, it is there as well. If you're looking for a model that is focused on some sort of translation, so that is here as well. If you are looking for a model that can process human text, that is here. If you're looking for some sort of a prompt gallery, where you are doing prompt engineering, you want to create templates that can be reused, so that is here as well. So these two that you have, they go hand in hand, these two, for creating the prompts, using the prompts that other people have created, and managing those prompts at your end. So this all that you have that relates to the prompt engineering, that is a submodule, a subtopic of Gen AI. So it means that this becomes a subtopic of this Gen AI that you have here, right? This is the prompt engineering that you have. Now, let's look into if you look into the era of artificial intelligence, this is not something new that we are doing here. The AI, if you look into AI from the Industrial Revolution, from 18th century, moving on to electricity, 20th century was the information age. 21st century is the age of AI. What tools like Google Cloud do provide us with is they act as a catalyst. They act as an enabler. Previously, we had the algorithms, but we did not have the infrastructure available. Cloud computing solves the problem in two dimensions. It provides the hardware that is needed, and it also provides us with the software tools. And both of these two, that's why we call it as it's an cloud computing. It allows us to be a catalyst for experimentation. It allows us to be an enabler for large scale innovation. Now, Google has a background in AI and ML. It has it is the leader. And one thing about Google is that when we use Google, we are not using AI as an afterthought. AI ML is the main driver for the business, Google's core business. That is why we call that Google is a AI first company. These algorithms, these technologies, these tools, the way they are provided, the model repository, all of that Google has already been using within their company for a long time. So the innovations like what we have is that the TensorFlow, AutoML, Vertex AI, this is something Google was already using in-house, and some of the innovations that Google has provided, they are homegrown innovations that have been made open source. Let's look into them. So let's look at them, some of them. So for example, AutoML. Now AutoML, if you look into AutoML, is there anyone who has heard about AutoML? Okay. AutoML is used for AutoML is something that is used if you want to if you want to use machine learning to train the model from end to end, right? It's like automating the whole thing. So in a way, it has potential to replace the data scientist as well. We are not there, and they will talk about this, that is not possible. It's not. There are certain things that is there are certain limitations there. That's why it's not supposed to happen. But if you now let's look into different key components on Google Cloud. That what are the key components on Google Cloud? Now, first of all, let's look into the key components of Google Cloud. So the key components that we have, I talked about AutoML. AutoML is it lies in the category where you want to create a model without writing a single line of code. And it lies in the category, we call it as the low code and no code solution. So you don't expect to get a perfect model out of it because it does not have the domain knowledge. It knows algorithms. So if you want to draw the Venn diagram, if this is the part of the algorithms, it knows the algorithms pretty well. If this is the part of programming, it knows the programming pretty well. What it does not know, or what is its weak spot, is the domain knowledge. So what it means is that it has limited knowledge about the domain. It knows about the maths, but what it does not know about is it knows about the maths. It knows about the programming, but it has no idea about your specific domain. By domain, what we mean is that your domain can be financial industry, it can be healthcare, it can be, for example, banking, it can be government. All of these are the different domains where you would be working on, but these automated solutions have it cannot do that fine-tuned training that brings your domain knowledge into the algorithmic solution that you are creating. Right? So the tools are, if you want to categorize into different parts, this is about data ingestion, this is about model training, and this is about deployment. Now, if you look into the AI principles by Google, so now these are the principles. AI principles are important because if you are not careful, so these models can do harm as well. It can hurt the communities by reinforcing the biases, by providing the information that is not accurate, by uh, creating a decision-making process that has flaws. So it means that we need to be careful. We want to make sure that whatever we are creating, it is responsible. And when we talk about responsible, it means that there is social benefits, there is fairness, we are respecting the safety, we are respecting the accountability as well, and it retains the highest possible standards in privacy and ethics. So these are about this. Now, when you build ML models, so there are different options for development. Let's see that what options do we have for development. You can use a pre-trained model API. So it means that someone else has trained the model and you can just go ahead and use it. So the example of that would be, if I go to Google NLP model, now Google has created this model for us. It is a pre-trained model. We can just use it. If I want to use it, I say that I am conducting now, when you are doing it, first thing that you need to see here is that whatever I'm writing here, as soon as I press this analyze button, it is sent to a model that is pre-trained. I don't know that how Google trained this model. I don't know that what is inside that black box. I don't know that which data Google used to train the model, but this will be the request. I want this pre-trained model to make sense of this sentence that I have written. And the sentence that I have written is write this one. I want this sentence to be processed in a way that it is understandable to the machine. So let's try to see that how it can do that. I want it to analyze. Now what it has done is that it has done multiple analysis on this one, multiple passes of analysis. First thing it has looked into that what are the entities here, sentiment analysis, moderation, and it has also done these categorization. So it has created these 4 tabs for me. And let me look into this tab and see that what is there. So it has said that these are the entities out of the text that I wrote. So out of the text that I wrote, this is the text that I wrote. It has extracted that what are the entities. Entity, it says that Ottawa and the webinar. So these two entities it has extracted. Then what it has done is that it has done some sort of a sentiment analysis. So it tried to see that this sentence that I wrote, it had any sentiment around that or not, any sentiments coming out of it, whether it is positive sentiment, whether it's negative sentiment, word by word, and a sentence as a whole. So this is its analysis. It says that I'm conducting a webinar. I'm in Ottawa. It's cold outside. This seems to have a negative sentiment. This is the only where you can see that it thinks that it's a negative sentiment. Now, then it has done some moderation, especially today in the age of social media. It is important that whatever we are writing, we are not writing something that is toxic or has derogatory information or have some contents that should not be there. So it tries to do that as well. And then it does topic modeling. So right now it's a short sentence. There is not enough information available to do this topic modeling. But if you go back here, now this is a pre-trained model. We have not done anything to train this model. This is an example of a pre-trained model where the solution was already there, and I'm just using the API to use it. Now, there's other way that there's a tool in Google Cloud that is called BigQuery. Now, this BigQuery, it is a data warehouse tool, but now more recently, it has been extended for machine learning as well. So it means that this tool that we have, it can do machine learning. And this is sort of a managed machine learning. It facilitates you. It provides some built-in functions. Data scientists don't have to prepare the data, everything by hand. So there are some very useful functions that are available. So it means that if you have a choice, you can use BigQuery. BigQuery is right here. If you go here, if you take an overview here, write BigQuery. This is the data warehouse tool that we have, and you can write different functions here. While you're writing these functions, so what Google Cloud has done is that right here, Google has allowed you to create 3 functions. So you can create the function to create the model. The name of the function is create model. That will create the model. You can evaluate it. And then you can use it for inference. So these 3 functions that we have in BigQuery, you will write the code here. It will allow you to use BigQuery from SQL. So it means that if you're looking for SQL-centric, SQL-centric machine learning, then you will use BQML. BQML is used when you're looking for SQL-centric. It means that it's actually a data engineering project, but it has a component of machine learning. Machine learning is not the primary goal. Machine learning is one of the requirements that we have, but it is not the requirement. So we talked about 2 of the choices that we have. First choice is pre-trained model. I gave you a demo as well. that how you can use it to make sense. So NLP is one example. There is one for vision as well. There's one for audio. So there are more than one pre-trained models, and there are other vendors, of course, they have their own solutions that are pre-trained models, right? And already showed you that there is BQ. But if you want to do many things by hand, I want you to think that under which situations you you will need a pre-trained model, something that is there, and you have to train it from the scratch. So this one, number 3 that you have, this is what you will do is that you will do custom training. Custom training is what we were doing here. I started a notebook here. The notebook is right here. If I go to Vertex AI again, so I started the Jupyter notebook there. It should be ready there. Let's look into that. The Jupyter notebook should be ready. I expect that to be ready now. Yes, it seems it's ready. I can open Jupyter Lab. And now what I can do here is that if I want to train a model here, so if, for example, one of the models that I can use is right here. This one, for example, this one is a model I can use for text embedding. Now, this is a working model. It should work. I can run this model just as you run Jupyter Notebook on your laptop. But this Jupyter Notebook that you have, this is running on the cloud. This whole thing is visible to you through a web page. But actually, it is using the infrastructure of the cloud. Not only that, it is part of the larger Google Cloud ecosystem. It's part of Google Cloud ecosystem, and that is sort of the differentiator that we have. It means that the solutions that you are creating now, it's custom training. You have full control over how you are going to train it. Now, if now I said that Google Cloud in particular and cloud in general, that is a catalyst. The term that we use is it acts as a catalyst. Let me make it bigger so that we remember this point. So Google Cloud acts as a catalyst. Why we say it acts as a catalyst? Because it provides us with the necessary infrastructure. You will see it's not only the infrastructure, it also provides us with the the necessary options that we need. It also provides us with the tools that are there. So these are different types of machine learning. You know, we know that there is supervised learning, there is unsupervised learning, there are reinforcement learning. Let's see that what these types are just for a second. Supervised learning is our traditional machine learning where you have labeled data. So this labeled data is used as the training data set, and the output, the deliverable of this is a trained model. Now, this trained model that we have, it needs to be deployed. It will create an endpoint and someone will use it. And when you are using this supervised learning, so the output of the dev process, so there's a dev process, and then there is an ops process. You know, we call it as ML ops. So This dev process, the output of that would be this train model. And this train model that you have, it will offer you with endpoints. And someone, if you want to use this, if this is the person, he want to use it. Now this person should be able to use this without looking into the details. That's a user of the model. So there is a developer of a model, then there is a user of a model. Right? So when we are in the development role, our job is to use this label data set and the algorithms that are in supervised machine learning to provide a solution, and the solution would be a trained model. You can also use unsupervised machine learning. In unsupervised machine learning, this group, it doesn't provide a solution. What it does is that it identifies the patterns in your data. It helps you identify that what are the natural patterns in your data. So for example, right now, if you guys are attending the training, if I want to divide you into two parts, that what are the people who are more into algorithms, data scientists, and who are the people who are programmers. So if I want you, let's say that this represents everyone who's attending this webinar, and I want to divide that into two parts. One is the people with the programming experience, more into programming, and the people who are more into maths, algorithmic part of it. Now, unsupervised machine learning, it will help us divide that into these two parts. Then we have reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning is used in self-driving cars. With each of the baby steps, there is a concept of a reward or a penalty. If the algorithm is moving, converging in the right direction. So you train it that, for example, self-driving cars, the algorithm that is the wisdom, that is the intelligence in Tesla or other self-driving cars. This is trained that where it will get a penalty and where will get a reward. And through that extensive training, it has developed or it has simulated that wisdom that will help us identifying these two parts. Um, so let's take a quick 5-minute break, and then I'll start on the remaining topics after the break.
Sure, we are now going to take a 5-minute break, but before we do that, we are going to launch a quick poll that we want to invite you to participate in. Doing so helps us know how we can better serve you by telling us who might be interested in more information or in taking some additional training. In addition, we have a lot more informative webinars coming up, so please go to netcomlearning.com/webinars in order to register.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's continue from where we left off.
Deep learning is another part of machine learning where neural networks are used. Now, these neural networks, they help us formulate the patterns that are for unstructured data, like videos, like pictures, videos. So they are used. If you want to see a demo of it, let's go here. The site that is called TensorFlow Playgrounds. This is by Google. This gives you a flavor of. I'll share the link here as well. If you click this link, it will take you here, and it is a site by Google that demonstrate that how deep learning works. And on left hand side, there are different patterns. You can see that the blue and green, they are different data points. You can build your story. It can be, for example, male and female. It can be Americans and Canadians living in different parts, and these dots basically are the geocodes of it, or it can be fraudulent transactions and regular transactions. All of these are cases. But if you press play, so the algorithm is able to formulate the pattern, to draw that boundary, that what is blue and what is red. And the hope is that once it's trained, now it's a new data point that appears. Now this point, if appears here, we know that this is red. And if a point appear here, we know that this is blue. So this is basically how we use deep learning. But if you stop here, you can change the pattern. For example, this one, if you train it again, now you can see that it's able to do that. Now, if a pattern appear here, it means that this is of course red. And now this boundary that it has created, this is fundamentally the learning process. It was able to find this out, that what leads towards a blue dot and what leads towards a red dot. And similarly, now this is a simple example. If there has been a pictures of cats, it's difficult to draw a cat here, but let me try. If this is the cat, the same deep learning will be able to find this out, that out of the patterns, the eyes of the cat, the shape of the ears, the mustache that cat has. So all of that, it should be able to find those boundaries, that this is the image that classifies as a cat. So this is deep learning. Now deep learning, it goes beyond the simple algorithms that we have. Now, what is the difference between, we use these terms, BI and data analytics? Now, BI is only for what happened in the past. That is business BI. This is finding intelligence, trying to learn the patterns that happened into the past, and based on that, extract some information that can be used to carry the business forward, to learn that whether these sales worked or not, to learn that this employment policy resulted in lowering the unemployment in the area, finding intelligence from the past behavior. Not too much anything about it. There is no predictive component to it. Now, it's used for, it's quite useful. It can be used for web analytics. It can be used for sales metrics, can be used for insight. There are different use cases where it can be used. Now, sometimes we use the term narrow and general intelligence. Now, narrow intelligence is trained to solve any one problem at a time. It can predict that whether it's a cat or a dog. It can predict that whether this person is a useful immigrant or not. It can predict, but at one time you train it to solve any one problem and you do not go beyond that. That is the narrow intelligence. General intelligence is more like mimicking human wisdom. We are not trained to solve one problem at a time. We can solve many problems at the same time. And if we can mimic that using AI, so we call them that as a model that is mimicking general AI. So the AI can be narrow or general. But it is very difficult for a model to exhibit general AI. The closest we can get to that are the use cases where we are using Gen AI. Because in Gen AI, we do not restrict it to a certain or particular use case. We won't, so that is why it is, but it has hallucinations, it has inaccuracies, the other things that you will see that are not what we, it's not a perfect solution, right? It does not have the wisdom as we know, but this is as closest as we can get to the general AI. Narrow AI, this is, now we talked about unsupervised learning. I said that if you are, I can divide you into two groups. One is about the programmers and one is about the people who likes maths. So unsupervised learning, that does not give you a solution, but it helps you finding or detecting the patterns in your existing data. This is what it does. Now, when we look into this, first thing is that there are different challenges and best practices goes with that. The challenges we always have is how to process huge amount of data. You know, processing this huge amount of data is always a challenge that that sometimes brings us to the cloud. We are looking for, so this is one challenge. First challenge is about the data, how to make sure that we have the power that we are processing power, and we are maintaining the quality of the data. While processing, we do not compromise the quality of the data. This is one thing. Then you can see here that when you train the model, whether the model is explainable or not. Explainable means that let's go back here. So I say that I divide it into two clusters, data scientists and programmers. Now, can I explain the justification why I divided you? For example, one of you, John, I assigned you, I said that the model assigned that you are a programmer. Do I have, can I explain, or the model can explain the justification why you were chosen as a programmer? If someone's visa is refused, I'm working for federal government, we are training the models, we are, if the visa gets refused, so do we have that justification that why that visa got refused? So this is where it's the whole area around that we call it as explainability. Is the model explainable or not? That's the point. So we are always looking for, can we explain the decision? Because if something goes wrong, someone says that the machine learning model discriminated against me, can we go back to the court and says, no, you are not discriminated. Actually, you overstayed last time, that's why your visa was rejected, or you did not get the offer for the job and AI was used. Can the company go back and explain the decision that you did not perform good on algorithms or something else, right? Now, when we are creating these solutions, we focus on creating something that is automated. We want to create automated workflows. And the pipelines that we create, pipelines are staged processing units orchestrated in a way that you can create a template out of it. So what I'm saying here is that this pre-processing, this is done in different phases. There are 2 or 3 different phases of that at the logical level. So if you try to create the processing units in a phased way that creates one-on-one mapping with these logic units, this is where what we do is that we call it as the pipeline. So these pipelines that we have, Vertex AI pipelines, these are the pipelines that allow us to process the data in a phased, staged way. And the solution that we create, they become reusable. And it becomes reusable because we store them as templates. Now, if you look into data to AI workflow, there are different stages in the workflow, and that will be reflected in these pipelines that we are creating. And these stages are data ingestion, pre-processing, feature engineering, deployment monitoring, optimization. And they will be reflected there as well. I talked about BigQuery. Now, BigQuery ML, let's zoom into just a bit. It does not support all the models. It does not support all the algorithms. If you want to use BigQuery, as your solution, it's a data warehouse. This is not a full-fledged machine learning tool. You want to use it? It means that it will have the main algorithms like regression, classification, time series forecasting, but do not expect full range of all the algorithms in BigQuery. If you want to look into Vertex AI, Vertex AI, I talked about, I gave you a demo as well. This is a tool that is, you can think of that as the single window operation. You can use it as so you do not have to hop around in different tools, and that becomes your single window. AutoML, let's talk a bit about that. Now, AutoML is used where it is used. I said that AutoML can be used to train them. It's a push button solution. You just push the button, give it a data, and the model will be trained. No data scientist needed. But it is used to create something that is called a pilot model, or sometimes we call it as the baseline model. Just to try out that whether this data, how to set whether this is a problem for which we can use machine learning to create a solution. Not all problems are for machine learning. There are lots of problems where machine learning cannot be used. And AutoML, it allows you to create that pilot model, that baseline model, without investing any money in training the team or hiring the team or assigning the people. Just push the button and the model will be there. It will not be a perfect model because it does not have the domain knowledge, but it's a usable model. And it means that it will set the expectations right. It will create the baseline of expectations. Now, if you talk about the data preparation processing tools, you can use data flow, you can use data prep. So these are where I said that it's important to create these pipelines. So these pipelines that we talked about, these are realized by using these tools. The tools we are talking about are data flow, data prep. These are tools that we have. Now, if you look into the how you can do now feature engineering, as I mentioned, that the problems that I said, the issues that we have with data is one of the biggest one is data processing. How we are going to process the data, right? That's a solution we are looking. So the answer to that is these are tools that we have: data flow, data prep, and now the feature engineering is preparing the data so that the signal to noise ratio is maximized. The noise is gone, and we are looking at the data that is useful to solve the problem. So feature engineering allows us to maximize the signal to noise ratio. Now, if you look into now, these were all words, the previous all slides were about the dev environment, how we are going to, whether we will use BQML or AutoML, what's our solution to it, all about essentially how we are going to use it, right? But once the model is trained, then we need to deploy that. And once the model is deployed, it needs to be monitored as well. So monitoring and deployment, you deploy and then you monitor. You deploy the model, then you monitor the model. You keep an eye whether how you do that. So sometimes let's assume that we are using machine learning for decision making, visa approval and refusal. So the way we can monitor is that part of it, 10%, we can manually uh, approve or disapprove. A visa officer is randomly selecting 10%. It means that the automation is 90%. 90% is done automatically, and 10% is double checked by the visa officer. This is one way you can monitor the model. You can, in terms of performance, there are other tools that can be used. So you need to think it through. That once you deploy the model, when it starts creating solution for you, how you are going to monitor that. Now, generative AI is the game changer. This is a disruptive technology we talked about, ChatGPT, BERT, and if you use generative AI on Google model, so there are different tools that are available. Vertex AI Studio is the tool that is there. Now, Vertex AI Studio has different, if you go back here, this is the tool that I showed you. For that, I will have to go to Vertex AI first. Now, if you scroll on the left-hand side, so this is the Vertex AI Studio. Now, this tool that we have, it can be used for, so Generative AI Studio, this is used for custom models, chat. It depends that what sort of unstructured data that you have and you take it there. So generative AI can be used for healthcare, retail, education, finance. It makes sure that your solutions, they are efficient, you can personalize them, and it allows you to innovate as well. You can use a pre-trained model. If you're using a pre-trained model, you will be downloading it uh, from Model Garden, or you can create your own custom model. Both possibilities are there. Now, and as I showed you here, if I go back here, so if you want to create a custom solution, for that you will go to Workbench, and I said that this is where that is. And once you are, so you can open it, and once you are done with this, or you no longer need that, then you can just delete it, right? So it is need-based solution that you have, and once you're done with it, you don't need it, you can just use that. And now, if when you're using Gen AI, you want to make sure that whatever you're doing, it has a chance of misuse. It can be used for deep fakes. It can hallucinate. It can provide you with the wrong information. So best practice is that you follow the principles of responsible AI. So if you want to look into the right option for AI development, so you can see that there are three paths again. Do you want to use a pre-trained API? Do you want to use AutoML, just push button, or you want to use create a custom solution from the scratch? All these options are there. Pre-trained models, I showed you that you can use it, but you have no control over it. The advantage is that you get a jump start. AutoML, I talked about this, that it can be used for, the word I want you to focus on is rapid prototyping. And it is a no code solution that is there. In many cases, you need to still more than 70% projects, they need custom training. For that, you need full control over pre-processing, algorithms, hyperparameters. So you need full control over that. So in that case, you will you have to use it, right? Now, if the options are, let's see how you're going to compare. So you compare when you want to choose that which of these three options to choose, or AutoML, pre-trained, AutoML, or custom training. So we compare it in terms of flexibility, in terms of complexity, in terms of speed to market. That what are the requirements? What is the complexity of the problem? How much flexibility do you want? How much customization do you want? How much is the time important? So based on that, you will create the solution. Right now, if we look into the pipelines, as I mentioned, that these are the phased approach that we have. This allows you to give a phased approach. And the interesting thing is that it is used for automating the workflows. And these workflows, you store them as templates. Now, these templates are the part where we say that they create reusable solution. So they create solutions that are reusable. Now, what are the best practices? Best practices are that don't restrict yourself to one of these options. Do use AutoML. Feature store is your the way you store the data, the label data in digestible format, consumable format. So that digestible, that consumable data ready for machine learning, that is stored in a repository that is called feature store. That feature store is it's right here. Now this feature store allow you to store the data right here. This will create feature groups for you. And this is how you will create that. For example, you have a feature group about a person. You have a feature group about a product. So what will happen is that there will be a feature group about a person and a feature group about a product. It means that all the features that you have for the products and the person, they will appear here and they will create the solution for you. Now, if we go back here, so use cases, again, depending upon the domain you are in, healthcare, finance, retail. So you can pick that you should be able to create features that are reusable across the domain. Now, let's look into the summary. So what we did was that we looked into in this webinar, we focused on we figured this out that how we can use Google Cloud as an enabler. The word that we used was a catalyst. So you can think Google Cloud as a catalyst. We think Google Cloud as a catalyst for innovation. So if we write innovation here, so the solution that we have, this is, you can think of this as the catalyst. This allows us to dream big. It allows us to be more ambitious. It allows us to solve the problem without assumptions and simplifications. And that is why when the largest of the models that are created, they are almost always trained on the tools like Vertex AI. So when you want to use it, so from the tool point of view, we have a single window operation, and that is called Vertex AI. From your training strategy perspective, you can use AutoML, you can use BQML. From the workflow perspective, you can create those pipelines, and those pipelines that you create from the workflow perspective, you can create the pipelines for data prep, you can create the pipelines for model building, and you can create the pipelines for deployment. So all of these phases, they are combined in a workflow and realized as a pipeline. And we also looked into the something that is becoming very popular, that is generative AI. So when you use generative AI, it is all about unstructured data. So that's why the applications that you will see, they are all about unstructured data, text, image, audio, and the tools that we talked about. These are basically about Gen AI Studio. Now this is the dev, so you can go towards this generative AI capability in two different modes. You can use that in the dev mode where you are developing a part of Gen AI solution. And the second one would be that you are in the user mode. You're using a pre-trained model. Now you would say that how we can create a model, how we can train a large language model. This is beyond our capability and capacity. It takes millions of dollars and months of effort to do that. So why would we like to train a large language model? So it's not about creating a full-fledged large language model. It's about our wish to tune that. to find way to make it domain specific. If you are working in healthcare, fine tuning a generic healthcare for your domain. Right? So this is where you will use the dev environment uh, Vertex AI, and you will see here that we have the Gen AI Studio that I showed you right here. That Gen AI Studio, it gives you capability to you can chat, vision. So it has so many dimensions that provides you a solution with one type of unstructured data. So you will see here that all of these, they are essentially different types of unstructured data, and it provides a solution in one type of this Gen AI. Now, if you look into the how you can build the machine learning models, so building machine learning models, you need to decide this, that are you looking for custom training, or are you looking for an auto ML option? This is for you to decide. And now, based on that, you will make your choices. And once you have made those choices, then you will see that how you can deploy and monitor the model with using those staged, phased, template-based infrastructure processing units that we call them as pipelines. And if those pipelines are within our tool, that is Vertex AI, then we call them as Vertex AI pipeline. And together, it provides you with capabilities to create solutions. This one, it allows you to create solutions that are a catalyst for innovation. And that is why we say that Google Cloud is a catalyst to create large scale solution. This is an enabler for innovation. So this is all for today. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Thank you, Imran. That was very informative. Now, I know everyone's looking forward to the Q&A session, so go ahead and start putting your questions into the question panel. And while you're doing that, I'd like to give the presentation rights over to Yastana Mishra, our product marketing person, who's going to introduce you to our promotions and webinar-related courses.
Thank you, Tracy. Insightful session. I believe everyone must have learned something new today or would have been able to brush up their skills around Google Cloud technology.
So firstly, I'm excited to announce that Netcom Learning is now an authorized training partner for Google Cloud, making us your go-to destination for cloud skilling. With this milestone, we are proud to offer comprehensive training across the three leading cloud technologies globally: Microsoft Azure, AWS Cloud, and now Google Cloud. So we, Netcom Learning, is your one-stop shop for cloud skilling. I would also quickly like to take you through some of our hand picked resources, which we think will immensely help in accelerating your Google Cloud skilling journey. Well, this document here that I'm presenting has been shared with you all in the handout section of GoToWebinar panel. You can download this document and access all the resources and browse all the offerings we have curated for you. So first up is the list of our recommended courses, which we feel will best suit your learning journey after attending our masterclass. So all these courses here are hyperlinked. Feel free to go through them post-event and check out the course descriptions and prerequisites and the value it can add to you and your team skill sets. Additionally, we have curated a blend of resources, including our upcoming and on-demand events, as well as some informative and educational blogs. So you can make the most of these resources to gain extensive knowledge on the Google Cloud topics they cover. Uh, Also, here I would like to inform you that today's masterclass session is being recorded. So, in case you want to refer back to any of the topics that were covered by the trainer today, we'll be sharing the recording link with you through emails, and also you can access the link here on the handout. so that you can revisit the session and learn at your own pace. Now, apart from our virtual sessions, you can also catch all the relevant updates related to IT and business training on our social media handles. So please feel free to follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel for all the latest updates. Our official pages and channels are linked here on the icons. Finally, if you have any suggestions regarding the topics you would like us to cover in our upcoming webinars and masterclasses, please don't hesitate to send us a direct message or leave a comment on our social media posts, or you can just simply email us at google@netcomlearning.com. We would definitely try to come up with the sessions on your suggested topics. Thank you once again for joining us today. You guys have a good one. Thank you.
Thanks so much for guiding us through all that information. And now we're going to go ahead and jump right into our question and answer session. What are some real-world examples of how Vertex AI monitoring has been used to identify and resolve issues like model drift?
Okay, so the answer to this question is that let me take an example where my full-time job is that we are using AI to train the model that if people are coming to Canada for immigration, so we use machine learning to approve or reject the visa of it, right? So now the solutions that we create, this depends on the legislation that has been passed. So let's assume right now there is one government in power. Now the election happens and the government changes, legislation changes. It means that our model has been formulated on the legislation that is no more relevant. Our model, of course, will drift. It will become inaccurate. So now what we can do here is that usually we have more than one models. One model is the active model, and the second one we call it as a low risk model. It means that it will reject any borderline applications. And let's assume that if we have defined those thresholds, a person, a visa officer who is manually looking at 10% of the applications, and if they mostly match, our model is good. But if it starts malfunctioning, we'll take the model out. We will bring the low risk model in for those 2, 4, 5 days. We'll retrain the model using the current data and we'll put it back.
How should a business decide between using pre-trained APIs, AutoML, or custom training on Google Cloud for the AI ML projects?
So first thing is that if there is lot of domain knowledge that is needed in the model, then you have to go with custom models. If you're working on genetic engineering, if you're working on detecting cancer, or if you are working on something that needs to have domain specific knowledge, AutoML will not have it. And it also depends that how critical your model is. What are your thresholds for misclassification? It also depends that do you have expertise to do that or not? Are you looking for a push button solution? So all of these will you need to do careful option analysis and take a decision. But it doesn't hurt that you always start with AutoML, create a baseline model as I presented, and then use a custom model to improve it further.
How does Google's approach to AI-first innovation differentiate itself from other cloud providers in the industry?
So the Google approach is that Google is itself using it for its projects. Google Maps and classification between spam and regular emails in Gmail, for example, or routing traffic within Google Cloud, or if you look into all those large scale solutions that Google provides. So these are already well-tested tools. And it means that because it's not only is well-tested, they are refreshed very fast, they evolve because this is the bread and butter of Google, and they are further monetizing it through Google Cloud. But this is not the only reason. So they are already proven to be useful for the last almost 15 years. So that differentiated from the other clouds.
Once again, I want to remind you that as you leave this session today, you will be presented with a short survey. We would like to request for you to help us by taking a quick moment to participate in that survey. Your feedback really helps us understand your learning experience as we are constantly looking at how we can improve our future sessions. The survey answers are measured on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 representing outstanding and 1 representing poor. We want to thank all of you for joining us today, and if you do come up with any additional questions, feel free to send them to webinar@netcomlearning.com at any time. We hope that you found today's webinar informative, and we look forward to seeing you back here with us soon. Feel free to tell your friends and colleagues about our webinars and other courses. Have a great day, everyone.